Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. I am spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White, and welcome to Ask Me Anything. So today is August 22nd, 2024. It's a very big week. This week is a very big week, and I'm going to talk about it with the astrology of the week. But let me say hi to everybody, and then I've got a great topic for tonight. And let me just say hi to some people here. Hi, Dee Dee from Chicago. Yeah, there has been a lot of tension in the air, but I, too, have felt some relief, too. So that's very interesting. Hi, MKD. Hi, Melissa Pinner. It was good to see you, too, in Chicago, honey. Hi, Trisha. Hi, Tom Owen. Hi, Prue Smith, all the way from Perth. Oh, wow, in Western Australia. Oh, my gosh, my husband's been to Perth many times, and he loves it. I have never been to Perth, but I would love to go. Hi, Renee Rossiter. How are you, honey? The energy feels very disconnected. You know, Renee, these are some really challenging energies. Some of us are going to feel a little better. Some of us are going to feel disconnected. And that supermoon, okay, how big was that supermoon the other day? That was such a rare moon, and that brought in so much emotions for people. Hi, Laurel Davies. Yes, last year James and I were on a cruise, on a cruise to Alaska, and we did come back with COVID. But we were on the cruise last year. That's right. And in fact, because James's birthday is tomorrow, August 23rd, and we celebrated his birthday on the ship. That's right. That's right. Hi, Sarah Stone. Okay. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Toby. Oh, thank you about the predictions. Thank you very much, Toby. I appreciate that. Hi, Karen Schumann. And Vedic astrology is fascinating, and I'm glad that you'll be learning all about it because I think it's so fascinating. And I'm going to talk to everybody about the astrology of what's going on. Hi, Sherry Craft, and hi, Ricky's from Portland. You guys were with us. You and Carolyn were with us last year on the cruise, Rick. Anyway, well, listen, let me get to work, and I'm going to be talking about the astrology and also about our subject tonight. And I do want to say thank you to everybody who wrote. Michelle, my marketing gal, who does so much work, and she does such great things out there. Hi, Michelle. She had a question for everybody, and it was a great question. It was like, what would you like me to speak about? So we really take all of that to heart, and Michelle and I had a meeting, and we came up with a lot of your ideas, which were great. And so I will be addressing a lot of your ideas. So anytime you have an idea for a show or just an idea, feel free to send it to my email, which is, I believe it's info@kelleewhite.com, info@kelleewhite.com. So let's talk about the astrology for right now. And yes, the energy has been, very, I would say, intense. I, for some reason, felt some relief this week too. Last week was very challenging. This week feels a little better, but from August 20th, so today's the 22nd, to August 23rd till tomorrow, Mercury is in Gandanta. And you've heard me talk about Gandanta, and this is Vedic astrology. Gandanta is what we call an insecure position. It's between a water sign and a fire sign. And when that happens, Gandanta itself actually means drowning. It's a very precarious time. And so it could have trouble with, because it's in Mercury, with communication, technology, transportation breakdowns. And so during this kind of a time period, it could be mentally exhausting. It could cause confusion. It could cause just exhaustion, frankly. And Mercury crossed at this Gandanta area last month from July 18th to the 20th. And it was during that time that the global IT outage happened. They grounded all the flights. So it's a very intense time, actually. And as we're headed towards eclipse season, so eclipse season, it starts, the first eclipse is September 17th. And I will be talking a lot about this next week. But the eclipse season starts 2 weeks before that. So we've got this Gandanta point right now as we're headed with Mercury still retrograde, and we're headed into eclipse season. So September will also be a big month. It'll be a big month. I'll be talking a lot about September next week, but it'll be a large month as far as the energies again, like the way they are currently. With eclipses, remember this, that eclipses take us from one road to another road. And so on Earth, we're here to constantly grow and change. So when we do Vedic astrology, we look at the eclipses because the eclipses are the ones that bring us so much change. And in my book, I talk a lot about eclipses because they have brought so much change into my life. I can actually chart it. So my birthday happens to fall between these two eclipses. The first one will be September 17th, and the second one is October 2nd. So if your birthday is anywhere, I'll say really much, if it's in September and October, we're talking some big change in your life. But if it's in between that time, it'll bring you from one road to another road. So these are some large energies coming up. And let's see, from August 24th to September 18th, Venus, the sign of relationships and love and finance, it moves into Virgo. And that's a time when that happens, it makes Venus a little weak. So you could feel, in relationships, they might be more of a challenge. So it's really important that time, that during this period of time coming up, for a lot of reasons. You want to have a lot of compassion for yourself, compassion for others. I think all of this time, for the next several months, we will be tested. A lot of tests will come up, a lot of tests. And I think if we can view things from a higher position, as opposed to a myopic, we don't want to look at anything myopically. We really want to look at the larger picture and through the eyes of our higher self, through love, compassion, kindness. You want to remember these things. It's because I'm sure we'll all be tested during these these critical times on Earth. Critical times. So anyway, that's the astrology for today. But next week, I will be covering September and the eclipse season and what it means to everybody. So anyway, let's talk about, and I'm going to get to your questions, and thank you for the questions that you've had, but let's talk about our topic tonight, because I think it's really an important one, and a lot of people really wanted me to address this. And the topic is how to distinguish between your own thoughts and receiving divine messages, whether they're from your spirit guides or your higher self or a loved one. So the first thing I really want to talk about is discernment. So what is discernment? As a spiritualist, as a medium, as a psychic, I had to, from the get-go, had to learn what discernment was, because I was hearing messages constantly. And I had to learn, is it from me? Is it from a loved one? Is it from, somebody else's, spirit? Is it from my spirit guide? I had to really figure this out. And I had to learn to discern for myself. And one of the ways to discern for yourself is this: know thyself. Know yourself so well. Know thyself is everything. So that has helped me with discernment. And discernment is the ability to judge well, the ability to judge whether it's coming, where it's coming from. And so I'm going to give you some examples. But before I get into the examples, the thing is, to learn to distinguish between your own thoughts and then what a divine message would be, you have to learn what mind chatter is. And that's like the ego talking versus spirit. And it's interesting because mind chatter, or the ego, will use a lot of words, where spirit uses few words and gets to the point. And remember this: spirit guides cannot interrupt our free will. So spirit guides will give, they might advise us, they might point us in the correct direction or in a direction, but it's really up to you again to pay attention to the messages that you'll be receiving. And so let me just say this, that there are some ways to tell the difference between your own thoughts and divine messages. The voice of a guide or your higher self might sound like some ethereal being. They would have no agenda. There would be a lack of drama. There would be no force. The voice of an ego will have an agenda, will have a timeline, or there's an urgency that feels like it's controlling. You also might feel like your body isn't connected to the thought, or that there's a sense of fear behind it. That's ego, okay? Because spirit there is no fear with spirit. It just doesn't. Spirit is a loving energy. So the voice of intuition will feel like this. This is how you're going to learn to discern this. The voice of intuition comes through with ease. And I'm going to give you some examples. It's just with ease. It will feel grounded. It will feel inspired. And I do want to mention that because I have an example to give of that. Again, there is no agenda with intuition from a guide or from our higher self. There's no timeline. It might present to you like it's a gut feeling, like there's a gut feeling here. It also is aligned with the energy of love. So this is how you're going to tell the voice of intuition. Okay, now the voice of the ego, it's really interesting, very different. It comes at you. So it doesn't come through you, it comes at you. It also feels fearful or forced or urgent. It can be, again, controlling or manipulative, wants a thing done in a certain way and it doesn't feel aligned in your body. And that's not how spirit operates at all. And I'll give you an example. I was talking to one of my favorite clients, and she's been with me for, I think, 15 years. And we both learned a lot from each other because we just have there are some clients, I learned a lot from all my clients, but there are some clients that I have really learned a lot from. Anyway, she was telling me today, and it was so interesting. She said, Kellee, I have to tell you what happened to me. She had no idea what the topic was going to be tonight. Our topic is to distinguish between our own thoughts and divine messages. And she said, Kellee, I was walking upstairs. I didn't have a thought in my mind. I was just, I was busy at work, and I walked upstairs. And she said, and completely out of the blue, I heard, don't worry if you have to move on. You will be all right. So out of the blue, she hears, don't worry if you have to move on. You will be all right. She said it was a message of nothing but love. It came completely out of the blue. And she immediately felt like a sense of calm with her. And that is how spirit works. So because in her career, there may be some changes. And clearly spirit wanted her to know that not to worry. If you have to move on, you were going to be okay. And she was just immediately felt relief from that. And she wasn't thinking about it. Another thing that she shared with me, which I thought was really important, and this is a woman that has been battling cancer for some time. And she said she didn't know if she was going to make it at one point. And she said, I woke up and thunder was in the middle of the night. So she just kept hearing this thunder. But she said the thunder actually became words. And she said, I could understand from God, who asked me, do I want to live? And she said, I was so shocked that I actually heard, do I want to live? She said, I just stood right up. And she said, when I stood up, she said, I felt this electricity go through my body, and I knew I was going to be all right. And she's still alive, and she has battled cancer and metastatic cancer. And she's had quite a journey. But she wanted me to remind everybody that spirit chooses different ways to communicate. And you just have to listen and be open to how spirit will communicate. And I thought that was really accurate because all of us are going to hear things maybe in a different way. Maybe we will, like, I'll give you an example of what happened to me. And this happened to me last night. Now, again, when Michelle and I choose our topics, um, never know how it's going to play out. And in this case, I had a really interesting experience last night. And this was through inspiration. So remember that I'm saying inspiration because you may have this experience as well. But yesterday I was working really hard, and I work a lot. I think I've mentioned that a lot. I'm kind of a workaholic probably. But anyway, I was working hard, and it was about 9 o'clock last night, and I was just trying to get my work done for today so I could see my clients today. And the strangest thing happened as I was sitting here, just literally in the middle of work. All of a sudden, I had this inspiration. I mean, it hit me like I didn't even know it. Just hit me so hard. It was, let's go make zucchini bread. And I'm like, make zucchini bread? But I'm working. This was a conversation I actually was having with myself, but this inspiration was so like over the top that I was like, oh, okay, I'll just get up and make it. I'll make zucchini bread right now. This is for the record. I don't think I've ever made zucchini bread, but I was like, I got to get up and make zucchini bread. Yes, one of my farmers brought me a ton of zucchini. I have zucchini for a year. But anyway, I was like, I can't do this. I've got to work. Every time I would try to pull my mind back to work. In fact, we're in a big remodel in our house, as you've heard me talk about. There's no room. Very little room to bake or to get things done. And Don was in the other room, and I didn't want to bother him by making zucchini bread at 9 o'clock at night. It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, so I went back, and I'm still working, and that inspiration was like just coming right through me. I was actually negotiating with the inspiration, going, look, I'll make it in the morning. And they're like, no, you need to make this now. I'm like, what? What? So anyway, Don goes upstairs into his studio, and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this while this energy was hitting me, and it was a big energy. It was huge. So I go into the kitchen, which is, again, we're in a remodel. So I don't even know where anything is. And I start throwing things together. I'm trying to find a grater to grate zucchini. And I'm making all this. I make this zucchini bread. I put it in the oven, and Don comes down, and he's like, what are you doing? It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, I don't know, making zucchini bread. He's like, what? Like, yeah. Anyway, I went back, finished my work, got the zucchini bread out of the oven, forgot about it. Honestly, once it was done, I completely forgot about it. Went to bed, woke up this morning, and Don says to me, we have some people that are going to come and pick our apples today. And I said, okay, great. I'd forgotten about that even. Anyway, long story short, it's the damnedest thing happened. This family of 5 came over. They were in the middle of they picked all the apples, and they were coming into the house because Don wanted to show them the house. And I have no idea why I even said this, but I said, would you like some zucchini bread? Me and the zucchini bread. And they were like, oh, that's our very favorite, and it's our birthday, and this, and then I understood why Spirit wanted me to make this zucchini bread last night. This was a very special family. And it was, I can't even tell you, it was that kind of inspiration that hit me so hard. So I just want to say, because let's say you might get inspired to paint. Let's say you get inspired to read. Let's say you get inspired to write. Those are messages. Please pay attention. This was an exaggerated story, but it's exactly how it played out with me. And let's say you're going to the store, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I want to buy paints today. Really listen and honor that. I want to buy paints. I want to paint. Because the way Spirit works with inspiration is it into the soul. It will get us going. And I think it's really important. So start using discernment and start paying attention to the voice of your intuition. And here's another thing. with intuition. You may start receiving downloads of information. And that also happens when you're on a spiritual path. You might get downloads of read this book or learn this, and pay attention to these downloads. The other thing is inspiration that you might receive. You might have repeated dreams trying to get you a message. And so all of getting messages are all ways to use discernment so that when you are receiving a message, then you will discern whether it's your ego or whether it is spirit. So you also might start seeing, and we've talked about this many, many times, numbers, 11, 11, 20, 22, 23, 33, 4, 4, 4, all of that. You might start hearing music. All of a sudden, the same song comes on. So there are many ways that spirit will get our attention, and meditation is a big one. So if you can learn to sit and meditate, and we have some classes or some shows I'm going to be doing talking about how to clear your mind for meditation and really help you to be able to focus to meditate, because that is where you can use the discernment of whether it's an ego or whether it is a guide giving you a message. So, and about 2 weeks ago, I can't remember now, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, ironically, the same thing happened to James. James and I both found we were in an hour apart in different states. I was I'm here in Wisconsin, and he was in California, and with the same weird thing that we came up. We're fine now, but anyway, my message was this. I heard my mother say, "Kellee, go to the hospital now." I just heard it the one time, but it was my mother's voice, very clear, very short, and to the point. And I didn't listen. I heard it. I tried to avoid it, but she was right. And I was like, all right, I'm going to the hospital. So I did. But anyway, these are the type, you will get messages. You might get a whisper of a message. It might be, it will always be loving. It'll always be kind. It will be a short, succinct message. It's not going to be a long, kind of drawn out thing. It will be short and sweet, and for helping or for giving you a message to help you get on the road that you're supposed to be on. But remember, spirit guides, and I want to make sure everybody understands this. They cannot interrupt our free will. They can certainly try to point this out to us. Here's a good road for you. You might feel in your stomach, that's the wrong road, but this is the right road. So really learn discernment and learn mindfulness, because mindfulness it's a form of meditation that, keeps you in the present moment. That's also a great one. And breathing exercises also really help with slowing your anxiety down, keeping you in the present moment. And that is a wonderful way to receive messages in a way that you can hear it. Because I'm telling you, we all get messages all the time, but in a hustle bustle world, and if you're full of anxiety and fear, it's really hard to pay attention to the messages that we are being given. And here's another one that you can do, and everybody can do this. Practice gratitude, because gratitude actually helps us relax from stress. The more relaxed we are, the more you can hear a message. Like my client who was just going upstairs to get a glass of water, just going upstairs, and then boom, she receives a message that tells her that even if things change, it's going to be okay. I mean, it was just totally out of the worry. Don't worry if you have to move on. You're going to be all right. And it was just the way Spirit says it. I think it's really important to remember that Spirit doesn't have, a voice will not be, there won't be any drama. There won't be anything agitating about it. That would be ego talking. So you have to learn the discernment. Here's another thing that I do too. I still do this. What am I saying? When I first started off, I still do this. And I think it's really important that, let's say I have a certain feeling. I may not get a message, or even if I do get a message, I will say, is this for me? Is this about me? And I can feel it in my body. It's mind, body, and soul. So you really have to take really good care of your body and your mind and your soul so you can understand and use discernment here. But I will say, is this about me? And I'll get an answer. Yes, no. Is this about my daughter? Is this about my grandchildren? Is this about, I go through, is this about the world? I ask myself that, and I'll get an answer. So everybody can do this. It just takes practice. That's all. So you get messages all the time, and especially from our loved ones. And we do get a lot of messages from our loved one all the time. And there was one from Laura Crum. And Laura, I love this question. She said, I hear the words of my mother, but I don't actually hear her voice. I just somehow know it's her. And she said, I question myself thinking, is this just wishful thinking, or is it her? No, it's her, Laura. Because again, they will impress us with what they're trying to tell us. They will impress it upon us. Sometimes it just goes right into the system. And you just know what you know. Sometimes some people have to be, it has to be spelled out. Like the other day with my mom, Kelly, get to the hospital now. I was like, what? And she was right. I don't think she would have ever busted in unless it was that important. And so anyway, we're going to hear things in different ways. So let's see here. I'm going to answer a lot of your questions. So thank you, everybody, for writing in your question. Here's a question from Kathy Drums. She said, I would like some guidance about an old friend I recently reconnected with. I have a bad feeling, but I don't know if I'm just being paranoid. So Kathy, here's the thing. If you have a bad feeling, please pay attention to that bad feeling. Because I don't know you. So if you are paranoid, I don't know. But here's the thing. I always go, if I have a bad feeling, boom, boom. James and I talk about that often. If you have a feeling, please pay attention. That is something that you can pay attention to. Oh my gosh. I think it's so important that you pay attention to that. Sherry Croft, she says, Kelly, I was driving up the river and in front of me, I saw 5 young ospreys flying close together and 2 of them crashed and spun together before separating. I know this was a sign, but what of? I think ospreys have to do with self-love and confidence. And so I would say this, Sherry, start paying a lot of attention to how you are, how you're feeling about yourself. That's what I would go with that. How are you feeling about yourself? So, and it was the weirdest thing. I have to share this with you guys. Yesterday, I was looking out, I live on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and I see this giant bird in the front yard, and our grass is starting to grow, it goes so fast in Wisconsin. Anyway, I saw this giant bird. I was like, what is that? Like, what? It was huge. It was on the ground. I couldn't really see what it was until I saw what it was, and it was a giant hawk that was on the ground that was going after some baby birds and these little tiny birds. And this mother bird, tiny mother bird, went after this hawk. It was like David and Goliath. And she went after this hawk and chased the hawk. She didn't just chase the hawk to another tree far away. She went after the hawk in the one tree, then went after him in another tree, and then in another tree. I was like, wow, never underestimate the power of a tiny one. I'll tell you, I never saw anything like it. So I thought that's a profound message. I think to everybody, like, never underestimate yourself of all the things that you can do. Because I thought that was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen. Anyway, and also, and I wanted to say, here's a question. And Anne Margaret, this question was from you, and you had asked, you said you asked this question all the time about about this question about, how do you know if it's your ego or your soul or if it's a divine guide? So how do you know is you have to learn to slow it down, and discernment. Discernment is everything. If you are anxious, the odds are it's going to be your ego talking. If you are in an agitated state, you're not going to get a message. If you are just off minding your own business, kaboom, you might get a message. You might look down and you might see feathers. Those are messages too. So just kind of remember that animals are messages. Anyway, and then I wanted to say a shout out to Brian G. He just had a brand new baby granddaughter, I think it was. Yes, who was born on 8/14. Well, congratulations. That's very exciting. I love new babies. The babies that are coming around are going to be very special because Earth we're at quite a time right now. And 8/14 is a double queen of clubs. Oh, this one's going to be psychic, 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 sour, psychic, psychic. I will tell you that. So let's get her a card here. And this is from The Power of Now. The Power of Now, I think, which is really great cards. And that's from James Van Praagh. And I love his cards. And let's get her a card. Okay. This is hilarious. Okay. Her card is, and this is really for everybody, she's going to be of the world. Discernment. Isn't that hilarious? That's what I was just talking about. Discernment. And if you are developing a skill to distinguish love from fear and truth from illusion, I think she's going to bust open everything, Brian. Really, congratulations. And this is for everybody also, the discernment card. Use discernment. Learn everything you can about yourself and know thyself. I think that's everything. Melania Stan. Hi, Melania. My daughter just started college, and I'm concerned about how she'll handle the stress of studies and taking care of herself. And her birthday is 12/12. Any insights or advice? Let me say, well, yes, when you start college, it can be a little stress. I mean, it can be very stressful. Now, she's a 6 of clubs with an 8 of diamonds. She's here to speak her truth and her own values. So you have to remember, as a mother, 6 of clubs, very powerful. With an 8 of diamonds, let her step into her own power here. I have seen CEOs with this chart. She will do very, very well. And, handle the stress. It just, send her a lot of love. Don't project any fear on her. Please don't. Just project love and more love. Because I think when we start a new adventure like this, we need a lot of positive energy around. So please make sure that there's a lot of energy there, positive energy. Wanda Senbari, she says, Kellee, I'm grateful for a card. I'm finalizing my dissolution of marriage. Should I wait until after Mercury retrograde to sign the final paperwork? No, I'd sign that now. Because you went back to do something. That's a paper I would be signing. I don't mean to laugh, but I've been through this a couple of times. And that is something that you could sign. Let's get you a card, though. I'm not laughing at you, honestly. It's just, this would be Mercury retrograde at its finest. Okay. But I would be signing it out. A card, cause and effect. You are aware that the love you create in your thoughts, it's an agent of change and the foundation of your results. So make sure that your thoughts are really wonderful, pure gratitude going forward, because our thoughts are everything. We have to think positively. We just have to. Hi, Lori Young. How are you doing? Melissa Calicitri. Hi, Melissa. I have a question. Can you talk to your guides, or do your guides only give out divine messages to your thoughts? Because when I was on my deathbed, I was talking to my guides, but my guides did not listen or help me. But when I talked to God, God listened and helped me. So first of all, I talk to my guides all day long. And you can talk to your guides. You can be still, and sometimes you'll get an answer. Sometimes they have to watch you through something. It doesn't mean that they're not there. Remember, guides cannot interrupt our free will, but guides are always there to give us love and encouragement And so, but I talk to my guys all the time. So yeah, talk to them, honey. Why not? Absolutely. I think you should. I think it would be very, very good. Hi, Betty Scott. How are you doing? She is a wonderful therapist who's in New York. If anybody needs a great therapist in New York, contact Elizabeth Scott. Ann Rogers, can I have a card for my son? And your son's birthday is 8/24. Let's go with the power of love. That's a 2 of clubs. And 2 of clubs, they call that the friendly card. Release. Make sure to tell him to have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the energy. Sometimes twos hold on to fear. So I would say be releasing fear. That's what I would say with this. And before I forget, I want to also give some shout outs to Talking to Heaven. And, oh, by the way, and these are James's cards, Talking to Heaven. By the way, on Monday's show on Life After Death and Beyond with James Van Prague and me, well, you won't believe this, but I'm going to be interviewing James on his book, Talking to Heaven. We're going to talk all about the book, and it's going to be really an exciting show, and you'll learn a lot of things about how the whole process was for him and everything that led up to that #1 selling book. And the week after that, on Life After Death and Beyond, he's going to interview me for my book. So I'm so excited about that. And my book comes out the first week in September for a pre-sale for 1 week. And then after that, the book will be for sale. So I'm really excited. It's been quite a time to get here. And Vicki Nason, this card's for you, sweetheart. Your husband says, we are soulmates. And that is the damn truth. That is the truth. And I want to get a card too. Before I forget, I have a card for Marilyn. Marilyn Wiederman, I think you're listening tonight. I'm sure you are. Let me get this. And you had a question. Whoops, I keep pulling up the wrong one. Hold on a minute. I have the questions right here. And you had a question for, you said you have 3 people celebrating a Virgo birthday this Sunday. But I think they have different birth dates, but this Sunday. And you wanted a card for you guys? Absolutely, honey. Let's get you a card. Kindness. You are a humanitarian, made of love, and you are able to share that energy with others. And I would say on that special date, and by the way, that's my husband's birthday. And he's the kindest person I ever met. So kindness is everything. So everybody should be very kind to each other. I think that will be very, very important. Now, here's a question, and this is from Karen Abercrombie. So Karen, she says, my mom-in-law is transitioning with no food, no drink. And she said, we're on day 14. And she says, the anger that was there, it's gone. And she looks very vulnerable now. She said, I've asked, please, to take as seriously inhumane, or she said, it's seriously inhumane. Why has it taken so long for her to pass? She has cancer stage 4 and 2 types of dementia, and she's been suffering. And she said it's been a 4-year journey. So hard. So tough, and she's physically unrecognizable. We just don't understand why she's still going around, why she's still here. So Karen, I don't know what agreement she has with her soul, but often what happens is even down to that last moment, it is extremely important that the soul has its own agenda of what it's here to learn, and it might be to help others learn patience or loving kindness to one another, to her. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure how her karma plays out in this, but I will tell you there's got to be a reason there. But I hear you, and I know it's difficult to watch. I've been in situations like that, and it's not an easy one, is it? Not an easy one. Just hang in there. Not an easy one, though. Let's see. Sarah says, Kelly, I'm watching from a small village in southwest Milwaukee County. Fellow Wisconsinite. Yay! Well, Sarah, let me get you a card just for being a Wisconsinite. Transformation. Use the power of love to move through illusions and shift into awareness. How's that for a good card here? Shift into awareness. I think that is wonderful. Okay, let's see. Laurel Gavel. Hi, Lori. Hi there. Can I have a card for my sister, Wendy? Her birthday is 7/18. You certainly can. She's been on disability for 23 years for migraines, fibromyalgia, and many other pain-related afflictions. Will she ever get relief in this lifetime? I'm not sure what her soul came in to learn, but let's figure this out. July 18 is a 10 of clubs with a queen of hearts. So a 10 of clubs comes to 10 of clubs has a mind that is like, we call it a brain with a brain. It's like a second brain, because they can usually figure out anything. Often, if the mind isn't under control, they will loop and loop and loop. So I'm wondering if there's any looping there with negativity. So one of the things that Ten of Clubs has to do is to change the way they think. So would I think that she gets relief in this time? Absolutely. I would think that she would get relief. Absolutely. But let's get a card for her. Okay. Here we go. Individuality. You leave your unique stamp of love on everything you do. So let's help her with her individuality. Let's help her thinking in different terms and thinking of terms of healing. And maybe she's designed here, because some of these 10 of clubs are the best healers I've ever known. Maybe she's here to actually have the experience so she can pull out of this, so she can help others. That's always a possibility. Okay. Yeah, and Margaret, last year we were on the Alaska crew for James's birthday. That is so true. We were. It was something else. And Ann Rogers, you were on the cruise too. Oh, hi, Ardelia from South Australia. Hi there. Happy birthday to James. I know, it's so sweet. Okay, let's see. Let us see here. Brandy Nursick. She says, any thoughts about the wheel of samsara, the reincarnation cycle? I'm hoping the monster holding the wheel is symbolic, not an archon. I would say that as far as the wheel of reincarnation is, it's always a reason we would even come back here is it's not to suffer. It's to learn, it's to grow. And so we come to Earth, and there are many schools to go to. This happens to be a school where we learn a lot in a short amount of time. And so we line up to come here, actually. So as far as the reincarnation cycle goes, it is only about what else do we have to learn? Have we learned the basics here? Basics. So the thoughts of that are, I don't see it as a cycle unless the soul, it takes the soul a little longer to either have an awareness or a consciousness to change the consciousness. Because even in all of what you can break through any of that in a very quick way by learning some basic things, which are, forgiveness is a big tool for this. Loving kindness, compassion, those kind of things help us through the idea even of coming back. So I hope that answers your question, but thank you for the question. I do appreciate that. So let's see, what else do I have here? So Liz Coatsworth says, I've been having major problems with sleeping and I just can't settle down and sleep more than 2 hours at a time. Liz, I've heard that from a lot of people right now. And I'm wondering this. I'm wondering if you are having first of all, have everything checked out medically. I always want to start with that. But I'm also wondering if you're having a spiritual awakening. A lot of times with people that wake up every couple of hours, it might have something to do with a spiritual awakening. So I'm just curious about that. I'd be curious about that. Yes, Jen Woonhouse says, sometimes, she says, I found the live, but I don't know if anyone else has issues with the links for the Eventbrite. Sometimes, Jen, they don't work for some people, and I don't know how to explain that, but that is true. Rose Oliver Lee says, my dad's birthday is tomorrow. Can I have a card? Absolutely. Let's get him a card. Here we go. Unity. You understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. There you go. That's for your dad. I think that is down. And Margaret says, my TV and thousands in my town cannot get the DNC on ABC. She says, is that possibly a Gandanta? Yes. There were also a power outage in LA today. So that's all has a lot to do with the Gandanta period. Hi, Lori Counts. How are you doing? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Oh, Tanya Fulton, my birthday is tomorrow, just like James. Absolutely. Can I have a minute reading? So tomorrow, if your birthday is tomorrow, it's a 3 of clubs. 3 of clubs is, frankly, I bow to this. They are the greatest psychics and mediums in the world, the 3 of clubs. I truly believe that with all my heart. I think second after that is a 4 of clubs. But I think 3 of clubs, they have this, they are born to be psychic. They're born with this deep knowing. I've never seen anything like it but a 3 of clubs. So tomorrow is your birthday. Tomorrow, Tanya, just like James, is on that Gandanta point. So what does this mean? This means that maybe, I know it's your birthday, but maybe take it easy and have some amazing thoughts, even good thoughts. Think gratitude. That's what I'd be doing. That's what I would be doing tomorrow. Okay, Mystic Owl, Sunny. I love that Mystic Owl. I keep seeing 808 or 818, and I keep trying to re-tap back into my gifts. I seem to have lost a few since I caught COVID 2 times. I had COVID twice also. Is that the reason they seem to have left me? Thank you very much. No, I don't think that your gifts don't leave you. They don't leave. When I started down this road, I used to say to my mom, oh my God, what if they go away? My mother would look at me and say, they're not going to go away. And they never did. What happens is you have to nurture them. So nurture yourself. If you had COVID 2 times, you really want to start, make sure that you take really good care of yourself. I mean, it's a big deal. And 808, of course, it reminds me of Hawaii, I think. And 818 reminds me of the Valley in Los Angeles. But anytime you see those numbers, if those are your numbers, honey, then pay attention, because all of us have different numbers. That, like, my husband loves the number 327. So that's his number. And his friend Sandy. And Sandy, if you're listening, 327. So everybody has different numbers that get their attention. So pay attention. And your gifts have not disappeared. You just want to get into a loving, centered, grounded place. Do your meditation. Have gratitude. Listen to spirit. Listen to the voices that come with quick messages or clean messages or easy messages, and start paying attention to that. There you go. Hi, Scott. So Julie Romano, can I have a card? Absolutely. Let me get you this. And hold on, I'm going to answer this. Whoops, wrong card. I just pulled that one. Respect. Okay, Julie Romano, respect. You value everyone's unique perspective on the path to love. Okay, there you go. All right, Renee, you want to put that up? Cindy Gers. Hi, Cindy. I've been getting multiple signs from my son, hawks and dragonflies, and I am filled with chills when I play music with him in mind. Are these always signs? Yes, yes, yes. And she said, I fell after 8-8 that this has increased. Well, 8-8, and in fact, it was 888 this year, was the Lion's Gate. And that actually brings again, and I've been talking about this since the beginning of this year, this light that's pouring on the planet. We have a lot of light that's pouring on the planet. I mean, a ton of light that's pouring on it. And yes, those, Cindy, those would be messages. I've got chills from your son. Dragonflies, hawks. And I love that your son must have loved music, because let's get you a card from your son here. Here we go. And he says, I see all of your thoughts. I see all of your thoughts. Oh my gosh, I got chills with that one. So pay attention. That's fabulous, because he'll be a guide for you. Tracy Alonso. Hi, Kelly. A close friend of mine lost his wife. I'm sorry. And since then, I've had a feeling as if she sits inside of me for him to give messages. Is that possible? Yes. She wouldn't sit inside of you, but she would be like, and I'm going to tell you, when I was young, this happened to me all the time. All the time when I was young. I was filled with constantly, and it kind of did, now that I think about it, it did kind of feel like I was heavy on my chest. I had to constantly be giving these messages from my grandmother. It was a constant. Yes. So anyway, yes, because you would be sensitive, Tracy, and his wife would know that. And because they will do anything to get our attention, to give loved ones a message, especially if her husband is really having a hard time with this, which I suspect, and it was a good friend of yours, I would be giving him messages left and right. That's what I would do. It helps. It helps them, So yeah, because I think she's going to sit with you until you do. So thanks for asking that. KW. Hi, Kelly. This is Karen. I enjoy your show. Thank you. I'm wondering why I can't hear my guides during meditation. Am I listening for a voice? I have lots of insights while walking in the woods. Okay, the best insights I ever have are when I'm walking on the farm by myself with my dogs. Best ever, because there's no distraction and my mind's not somewhere else. So when we meditate, it's, if you're waiting for a voice to come in, it doesn't have to be that. It's could be a feeling, it could be a vision that you see. It just might, you might feel just at peace. So just know that it's not, you're not doing anything wrong. It's, if you have an expectation, I'm going to hear my guides. I mean, I don't hear my guides. I'll get like a knowing from them. They don't say, Kellee, now let me get your attention. They don't work like that. They are more open a door for me, or I don't know, something like that. It's more like that. Anyway, but keep practicing, Karen. Keep practicing. I just got a text from James. He said, I'm in a monsoon. I think he's in Arizona right now. Oh, that's too funny. Anyway, oh, Marge, you love zucchini bread? Good. I'm glad that you did. I think that's important. Okay, Luann Ford, when you receive these messages and act on them, will you find a sense of peace? Yes, yes, and yes. Thank you, Luann. Yes, if you act on them, you will find a sense of peace. And you'll also, the way the messages come through, it's, again, it's a gentle thing. It's just gentle, just gentle. So I love that. Okay, Cindy Johnson says, I just published a short love story on the keep things. It was an emotional up and down, but I believe it was good for me. Cindy, congratulations. I think that's wonderful. Prue Smith, that happened to me this morning. The song was All You Need Is Love. See, that's how this works. Do you think I can get it out of my head? Okay, that's hilarious. No, I don't think so. That's very funny, though. Michael Cochran, he says, and his birthday is 12/20, so December 20th. Is a Jack of Hearts. Jack of Hearts is all about sacrifice and giving for others. I mean, it's a lot. I always feel sorry for Jack of Hearts because they took on a lot in this lifetime. But let's get you a card. Okay, and this is cooperation. In your quest to manifest the energy of love, you realize that every person has experience and value. So that's a very good one. That's a good one. Okay. Margaret Luce. Hi, Margaret. The clocks my dad made started to chime incorrectly. I'm sure he is trying to communicate through them. For sure. For sure. For sure. They will try any which way they can to give a message. I love that they started to chime incorrectly. That's very funny. That's very creative. I gotta give him that. That's very creative. I mean, it's often we'll see lights flicker, go on and off. We'll see all of a sudden clocks that have stopped working will suddenly start to work. We'll see TVs. I've seen TVs where they go on, they go off, and then the noise on a TV goes way up. I've seen that many times. So, and your birthday is May 8th, and May 8th is a Jack of Diamonds, very creative. May 8th is a very, very creative person. So, and they have a lot of energy. So there you go. Hi, Elle Stockton. How you doing, honey? Okay, Tippy Landis. I had a dream that I saw a chalkboard with 111 on it. And it was, Mom, every day I see ones, I know she is with me. Oh, I got chills, Tippy. How great is that? That's wonderful. Okay, and Cindy Johnson says, I've been stuck on Willie Nelson. I love Willie Nelson. He's a 4 clubs like me. I love Willie Nelson. I hope he lives a long, long time. I just love him. Okay, Renee Rossiter says that spirit always brings us peaceful energy. Yes, Renee, I couldn't have said it better. And the ego will drain us. And that's how you will know the difference. It is just a kind, loving energy. So, okay. Carrie Tucker said, I needed to renew my driver's license. And out of the blue, in the middle of the day, I went to the DMV. And I was in and out, including parking, in under an hour. Okay. And I got my very first, she says this is in Glendale, California. So Carrie, when I was 16, I got my license at that exact DMV in Glendale, California. So I know that DMV there. To get in and out in 1 hour is impossible. So you must have just out of the blue, you must have been guided there. There's absolutely, that would not have happened unless you were guided there, because that DMV, I do know, no way in and out in under an hour, not possible. Go you for paying attention to your intuition with that. I think that is so important here. Laurel Davies. Hi, Laurel. She says, my inner self often gives me little premonition tasks, like my zucchini task, and they are so clever and magical in the spirit world. I love that. It's so funny. I was like, I had this enormous inspiration, almost manic. It was like, I got to get up and, I got to go do this. And I'm like, why am I doing that? I can't make zucchini bread. It's 9 o'clock at night. And there you go. So anyway, hi, Ricky's. Can any soul, hold on that one question. I'm going to answer that in just a second, Renee. Ricky says, can any soul become an ascended master? I'm going to say yes. We always hear about the all-stars. Yeah, the all-stars, Buddha and Jesus. But if we finally learn our earth life lessons, can all souls make the team? 100% yes. Rick, yes, they can. And it's funny because I actually was asking that question years and years ago, and the answer is yes. Yeah. To make the all-star team, you really have to put in the love, the kindness, the effort, the helping others, the selfless sacrifice, because as a master does, they sacrifice a lot. And so, yes, the answer is yes. Okay, Renee, would you put that question up? So, Ophelia Santos, my birthday is September 21st. So first, let me just say, my favorite song in the world is September, because it goes into September 21st. The song by Earth, Wind & Fire is about September 21st. And my beautiful granddaughter Lulu's birthday is September 21st. And that is a 3 of clubs, what I was talking about earlier, wildly, wildly psychic. And you say I've been seeing my aura sometimes in purple or yellow. So purple auras indicate the psychic. If you see purple around someone, it's deep psychic ability. It's deep old soul. It's amazing to see. That's the teacher. It represents so much, the purple. And yellow also will put us out in the world. So I'm glad that first of all, I'm grateful that you're seeing auras. I love when that's another thing that I should have talked about, how spirit works. All of a sudden you might look at somebody and get a quick color of them. You might see blue around them, or a white around them, or a green, or some color. That is a spiritual awareness that starts to happen. And I think that's really important here. So yeah. Hi, Jen Tran. I'm going to get you a card, Jen Tran, just because. Humility. You have developed the loving awareness that you and everyone else are the same, but on different paths. I love that. That's for you, Jen Tran. Okay. Schmein Becker. I'm trying to listen to my guides and higher self, but I'm not recognizing signs. Can you help? Yes. So again, we kind of go inward. We meditate. We have patience. And I would be, when you're least expecting it, you will see things or hear things or have no expectations. Just be joyfully on the road with gratitude. And that's when things start to come in with no expectations of anything. I mean, if you could have seen me yesterday, I'm busy working, and all of a sudden, zucchini with bread, what? That's how this works. It will get you off guard. So have a love affair with yourself. That's how it starts. And start using discernment and gratitude. And you'll be amazed at all the things that happens. So everybody, next week, I am going to talk about the September astrology. And we're going to talk about these eclipses, because they will be life-changing for so many people. And my book comes out the first week in September. Yahoo! I'm so excited. And join James and me on Monday on Life After Death and Beyond, where I'm going to be interviewing James on his book, Talking to Heaven. You don't want to miss that one. It's going to be a great, great show. So everybody have a wonderful week. Have a lot of patience and listen to Spirit. Take care.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.